Let's take it to some fantasy football, people, with the Not Friday 5 top sleeper quarterbacks. All right, number 5, we're going to start with Trevor Lawrence here. Now, he did not have a great rookie 2021 season, but I think he is going to bounce back here. New head coach Doug Peterson has really worked well with quarterbacks over his career, so he has a really good relationship with Trevor Lawrence. I don't need to go through all the stats that he had last year, but what really stood out to me, he had 334 rushing yards and 2 TDs on the ground, average around 12.7 fantasy points per game, but they made some additions. He has some weapons to throw to now in Evan Ingram and in Christian Kirk. Plus the 1 year of experience under his belt, I really feel like he could bounce back here. Probably draft him maybe in the later rounds if you're really needing a quarterback on your bench or a quarterback too. All right, next, call me crazy here, but I think Baker Mayfield is going to have a good season here. We know the drama surrounding him this offseason, but listen, I think that he looked really sharp in the Panthers' first preseason game and is going to be the starter in week 1 here. From a fantasy perspective, he's been a top 24 fantasy quarterback in 3 of his last 4 seasons when he has weapons like Christian McCaffrey and DJ Moore. And we know Baker Mayfield really performs well when he has a chip on his shoulder, and I would say he has one. I really think that he could have a breakout season if his weapons stay healthy here. I'm going to go with Trey Lance, a guy we've talked about a lot on this show. It makes things a little different now that Jimmy G is coming back, but they believe in their guy Trey Lance. I'm going to do a little math here, all right? He had 31 rush attempts in 10 quarters in 2021. He only played in 2 games, which had him put on pace to 210 over a full season, which is 70 more than what Hurts had last year, which I think he could have that same sort of production this season. There were only 4 quarterbacks who had more than 75 rush attempts last year. They averaged at least 22.3 fantasy points per game. So there is a lot of potential here. That's a lot of math for you, but if you could follow me, just believe me, he's a good sleeper. All right, Justin Fields, he looked sharp in his preseason games, and now with this new offensive coordinator, Luke Getsy, I think he's going to have a breakout season here in year 2. He's feeling confidence. His teammate feels it. He finished top 12 fantasy quarterback in his last 4 games last season, averaging 21.7 fantasy points per game. Also averaged 56 rushing yards per game in his last 6 games. If you look at the first 6 matchups for the Bears this season, weak secondaries, I think he's going to do well here. Finally, Tua Tagovailoa, I think that this guy, he is due, right? Now they finally added some depth in the receiving core and also up front. He was very efficient last year, but when you add guys like Tyreek Hill and you also have Chase Edmonds, I just think this really sets Tua up for an opportunity to have a great 2022 season. JP, those are my top 5 sleeper quarterbacks.